Okay, we have different teams, but I mainly focus on the two teams, which is a functional team and a technical team, because we as a developers fall into the category of the technical teams, and we always interact with the functional teams. Okay, so what happens in real time environment? What happens? Let us see that. So let us imagine there is a organization which is interested to implement SAP. Let us suppose there is an organization which is interested to implement SAP. So let us say the organization name is XYZ. Okay, XYZ Private Limited. Let us suppose. Okay, let's not name any other organizations. Let us say the organization name is XYZ Private Limited. Okay, so this is the organization which is very much interested to use SAP in their day-to-day business activities. What do you mean by day-to-day business activities? It has to run its business applications on SAP platform. Very simple. It has to run its business operations or business applications on the SAP platform. So then how it is going to get that SAP? So what happens? Generally, this XYZ Private Limited company will try to approach different people. It will try to approach different people. Okay, it will try to approach different people who are good at implementing SAP. Okay, who are good at implementing SAP. Maybe there can be, let us suppose, company A. Okay, we have a company A. Similarly, we have some company B. Let us suppose company B. Company B is nothing but this is like an organization who is like working. Okay, and this is like company like company C. Let us suppose, okay, we are having some different kinds of companies A, B, and C. Okay, which will actually have these functional team and technical team. Not only functional team and technical team, they have the complete infrastructure. Okay, let us suppose they have the complete infrastructure ready for implementing SAP. Okay, for implementing SAP. SAP to whom? Not only to XYZ company. It can implement to any company. It not only XYZ, it can be ABC, it can be BBC, it can be some K2C, etc. Whatever the company it is, which is very much interested in SAP, it can implement to any other companies. So what happens? I'm talking about XYZ. This XYZ will choose these companies, and it will ask for some kind of budget. It will ask for some kind of budget. Okay, for implementation. Let us suppose implementation means, yes, we have different types of projects in SAP. We have different types of projects in SAP. I'll come to that point. So when I talk about implementation is the very first type of project, it means SAP is not available in XYZ company. So it is looking for company A or company B or company C to bring that SAP into their business operations. So it means it has no SAP, then it is trying to bring ABC into its business. So it means it is a kind of, we call it as a kind of implementation project. We call it as an implementation. It means so far there are no business operations. There are no SAP applications for this SAP. So far there is no SAP platform established for XYZ company. So that is the reason why we are calling it as an implementation project. It means it is going to work on SAP for the first time. So for it to work for the first time, it is approaching some different companies like company A, company B, and company C. These are the tech companies. Okay. So now the understanding is it will send some details to ABC, and ABC they will give the quotation like what is the how much is the budget like they are looking for from this XYZ company. They will send the details. Okay, it's like understanding between the mutual understanding between the two different parties. So on one fine day, XYZ will choose any one of these A, B, C, whichever is quoting very less or which they feel it has like more genuine or something like that. It will try to choose that company. Let us suppose it has chosen company A. Okay. Now, once company A is chosen, company A will start. Company A will first bring the different people into the team. different people into the team. Different people means different functional stream people. Different functional stream people. It means which modules they are looking for. Which module is XYZ looking for? Either it is looking for MM, it is looking for SD, is it looking for FICO, it is looking for HR, or it is looking for CRM. Likewise, it will first try to bring these relevant people into the project. It will bring relevant people into the project depending upon the functional modules that needs to be applied or that needs to be available in XYZ organization. So that is what about the this is about the functional. We call them as the functional team. We call them as the functional team. Okay. Similarly, technical team is always there. So when we talk about this technical team, this is like ABAP or CRM technical. Okay. So it can be like a workflow, etc. things. We call them as the technical team. We call them as a technical team. We call them as the technical team, right? So that's about the understanding. So we have the functional team setup. We have also the technical team setup. Okay, so generally this is what happens in the real time. So company A will set up both functional team with that. It will set up the functional team with respect to module persons, and it will also set up the technical team with respect to that. It can be ABAP, or it can be CRM technical, or it can be workflow, it can be web pro, it can be Fiori consultant, or etc. things. So it can be technical means it can be of any stream, right? So most of the times, this is what happens in case of when you have a project, right? Kickoff. Okay, so we call it as kickoff is nothing but the start, right? So during this process, what happens once this project team, once the project team is created, this team, the functional team will try to interact always with the XYZ people. It means for MM, okay, so for MM, let us suppose this is from, this information is from our, let's suppose company A, okay, which is trying to company, okay, let us suppose this is company A. It means this is our SAP partner company, SAP partner, and the other one is your company. This is your this is company XYZ, which is looking for SAP implementation. So what happens from this company A, we will have, let us suppose, MM person. We also have some SD person. We also have some FICO person, let us suppose. Similarly, at the business side, we call this as the business side. Okay. So business, at the business side, we have a person to handle MM related queries. At the business side, we have a person related to SD queries. We have a person related to, okay, we have a person related to FICO. So it means this MM person will try to interact with the MM person, a business person, okay, at company XYZ. He will try to gather all the MM related requirements. Requirements will be gathered. All the requirements will be gathered. Similarly, SD person will interact with a business person who has the knowledge of SD on XYZ company or XYZ company, and he will start requiring the requirements, gathering the requirements. Similarly, like FICO person will also interact with the business FICO person, and he will start gathering the requirements. Okay, gathering the requirements. So this is how generally the requirements will be gathered in the initial stages of your project. So once all the requirements are gathered, so what happens? These are like we call them as we call them as like business. We call them as business specifications. Okay, we call them as business specifications. The business specification documents, right? The business specification documents are now available with respect to the MM persons. So what they will do, they will try to create them as functional documents, okay, or functional specifications. Okay, so they have the draft information collected from the business people, And what they will do, they will work on those documents. They will filter which is wanted, which is not wanted, and they will specify clearly, okay, the requirement, and they will create the requirement document, which is nothing but functional specification. Okay, this is the functional specification, right? So this business specifications, we call them generally as, okay, these business specifications. They will work on that, and they will provide you the functional specification documents. Okay, the functional specification documents. We generally also call this as like a blueprint. We'll have something relevant to the blueprint. Okay, so blueprint will tell you like what is the actual information which is actually required from the company XYZ to company A, which is the SAP partner. Okay, so this information will be gathered. This information will be gathered. So these functional requirements will be next provided to the, these functional requirements then will be provided to the technical team. Okay, so we have the technical team. To the technical team, the technical team will be most of the times will be offshore. Okay, so most of the time the technical team will be offshore. Of course, functional team also will be some offshore, but only few folks will be traveling to on-site depending upon the requirement. Okay, for example, in if there are 10, if there are 5 people, one main person will be at a client place. Okay, one main person will be at the client place. He will directly interact day to day with this business team. This person will give all the requirements to other folks of team in offshore. Okay, so likewise the coordination will happen. So once everything is done, they will provide these functional specification documents to the technical team. Okay, in the technical team, depending upon the requirement, they will have some kind of size, maybe 10 people, some 15 people, likewise. It depends upon the frequency of the developments. Okay, so these functional specifications will be assigned to the technical team. So there will be a technical team lead. The technical team lead will receive the functional specification document. He will be the point of contact with the functional persons. The technical team lead will take that requirement, and he will look for the available resources in his team, who is free, or who is low burdened, or who is not overloaded, who has the bandwidth to handle this new requirement, etc. things. He will take that specification document, and he will assign to that resource internally in the technical team. Okay, so once the technical team person has that document, what he will do, he will go through the document. So what happens next? In the next thing, once the technical team person has that specification with him, he will try to analyze the functional specification. Okay, he will analyze the functional specification document. Functional specification document. Right? If any doubts, what happens? He sets up, he approaches the relevant functional person to clarify his doubts. Okay, once the doubts are clarified, what he will do, he will try to prepare the technical specification document. We will prepare the technical specification document. What is this technical specification document? It has just this technical specification document will have the overall functionality. Okay, overall functionality of the requirement. Overall functionality of the requirements. It means it will just have some kind of what we call, we will say that it is like we will have this document explaining about the functionality or explaining about the requirement. Very simple. Okay, it means like a fetch data from, it's like this. For example, if there is a requirement like fetch data from Mara table, example, Mara table basing on the condition where Mara -mtrt equal to some XYZ. Example, I'm just talking about an example. Okay, like once data is fetched, okay, once data is fetched as per step 1. Okay, let us suppose this is my step 1. This is my step 1, or this is my first step. Okay, as step one. Then step one. Then fetch data from Mardi table. Okay, for all the materials in step one. Likewise, so we will write statements like this, explaining about the logic, but we don't put the real logic over here, real code here. It is like a pseudo code. Simply speaking, this is like a pseudo code. Okay, we will just put some such kind of the statements in the technical specification document. Once this document is ready, then what happens? We will send this document for sign off. We will send this document for review. Okay, once this is reviewed, it will be signed off. Once this is signed off, then you will start your you will start actual development. You will start actual development. It means then you will start creating your package, then you will start creating your TR, then you will start creating your program. Generally speaking, you will start creating your program, package, TR, all those things. You will be start doing it, and you will follow the coding standards. You will follow the coding standards of the client. What is this coding standards? You will follow the ABAP coding standards. It means for program, okay, they'll use him a document. They'll use some document. It means, for example, if it is a report program, then they will say your name of the report should start with Z or Y. Second letter should be like underscore. Then third should be like R, and the next should be it should be like description. It can be anything like this. Okay. Then R. Okay. R underscore. What is the module? It means if it is FI means FI, or MM means MM, or SD means SD. Likewise, underscore. I will say description. So we have to certainly follow some kind of standards. The standard document will be given to you by your project team. I mean, the technical team person will be giving to you to follow these standards. We will follow that standards accordingly, right? So we will follow those standards. We will follow those standards, and it's not that you have to use your own variable names. No, whatever is given there. For example, if you have to define, if you want to define a local variable, then they will say LV underscore your variable name. Okay, you need to say this. If it is a constant, let us suppose if it is a constant, then we will say local constant means LC. If it is a global constant means they will say GC. Global constant means GC. Similarly, here local variable means LV, global variable means GV underscore. Similarly, if it is an internal table, then if it is a local internal table means it will be like LT underscore. If it is a global internal table, we will say GT. If it is a work area, let us suppose, then they will say local work area means that can be LS, or sometimes they will say LW, or sometimes they will say LWA, or sometimes they will say work area. If it is a global, then they will say GS, or sometimes they will say GW, or sometimes they will say GWA, or sometimes they will say yeah, likewise. So for everything, for a class, for function model, for function group, for table, for data element, for domain, everywhere they will be given some kind of what is that, some kind of details are given in your standard document, and you will have to follow this. Every time when you start coding, you will refer to this document and you will see this. Okay, once your coding is done, what you will do, once your coding is done, you will then start once your coding is done, you will start unit test. Okay, you will unit test. You will unit test. You will unit test. What you will unit test? It means you will do a testing at your side with respect to the functional team provided data. Functional team will be providing you some data. Functional team provided data. So with that, you will make some testing done with respect to the functional team provided data. Once that is done, okay, you will prepare your unit test document. Okay, unit test document, you will prepare it. Once you prepare your unit test document, then your functional team will start. Functional team start testing it. Test your, the program what you have created. And once you unit test it, generally what happens, once you unit test this, you will send for code review. Okay, you will send for the code review within the technical team. It means within the technical team. It means whatever the code you have performed or whatever the code you have written, the code will be reviewed by your colleague, your colleague, okay, who is within your team. You will send a mail to him saying that, copying your team lead, do a code review on this. He will code review and he will see if everything is good or not good, or he will provide you some comments. He will ask you to change and select queries. Okay, sometimes you may be using select star, okay, in your code. Sometimes you will say don't use star, just select fields, the respective field. For example, field 1, field 2, he'll ask you to make a change over here like this. He'll ask you to change it, you will change it. And finally, once the review is done, once the code review is signed off, then you will send your development to the functional team to test it. So once the functional team tests it, and if everything is fine, they will send you a request to release the transport. Okay, they'll release the transport. Then what you will do, you will release the transport from your side, and you will update the functional team to further test in the next environments. It means you might have released from development. It goes to what? It goes to QA. They will perform the QA testing. In QA testing, if everything is fine, they will raise a request to move the changes to production. At QA, if there is any issue, and if they notified any issue, something you did not test on your side, which is not caught in the development for that scenario, and you'll come back, to development, and you will again make some changes in the development. Again, again you will go for a code review. Again, you will test it. Again, you will go for providing or updating the unit test document. Provide update to the functional team to test it. Once they say okay, you will release the transport again. It will go to quality, and again from there, if they test and if everything is working fine, they'll move that to the production. Okay, this is how the process happens in the real-time environment. This is how it takes place in the real time. Okay, so this is how it goes on in the real-time environment. So this is a regular. These are the regular steps that happens in any project on day-to-day basis. This is irrespective of the type of the project. It can be implementation project. It can be implementation project, or it can be support project. It can be implementation project, or it can be support project, or it can be upgrade project. Okay, and it can be a roll-off project. It can be roll-off project as well. It can be any project. The same thing will happen in case of any kind of the projects. Okay, so far I told you about the implementation project. Support project means already SAP is there with that company, and all the applications are running, and we need to provide some kind of support. If there are any issues in production, or if there are any new requirements coming up, then we will try to provide some kind of support. Upgrade means you are on an old version. The project is your applications are running on the old version. You want to make that old version to be compatible with the new version. You want to come to the new version, like the way I update your mobile software. Similarly, we can also update our SAP coming towards the upgrade project. When we talk about the roll-off project, like my business is running in, let us suppose, in India. Okay, I want this to run in Germany. Then I will roll off this requirements to the, Germany. When I roll off this kind of, requirements to the Germany, like the tax considerations, the VAT requirements, or the tax requirements, etc., should be country specific. It should be relevant to the Germany country. So all those changes will be handled, and corresponding to that, the text, the language text, the displaying of the text on the screen for different fields, etc., things should be like local as per the Germany language. So all those things, etc., will be taken care in case of the roll-off projects. Okay, so and the project is open in one market. It will, the same project will be like try to be exposed to other markets corresponding to different countries and different taxes, etc., things will be taken care. So that's about the roll-off project. Okay, so you being a technical team person, you will always undergo all the steps which I explained you now, and which are very important in your day-to-day activities as a part of a being part of the technical team member, being an ABAP person. Okay, so technically you will have a lot of challenges. You will definitely enjoy programming, and I really have a kind of assurance that definitely with respect to your practice, good practice. When I say practice, it should be good practice. Definitely, you can have very good milestones achieved. Okay, so that's about the process about SAP project implementation and the functional team, technical team, requirements gathering, and like designing, the development, and the testing. Okay, so all these things you need to have in your mind because you will be part of the technical team maybe later in future, right?